Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Latte Lath, he's here, and he's perfect. And we have a derby this weekend. We getting all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And Atlanta United beat CF Montreal 3-2 over the weekend in front of a very large crowd. But the whole bowl was open. It was a very, very good atmosphere for the most part. But before we get into the match review and all of the other things in this episode, let's give some shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam. Most notably, Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, Nick, and Jeff. Thank you guys so much for all your support and everyone who also pledges on Patreon. But yes, also some more housekeeping as well. We have a MLS 2025 table prediction contest in our Discord. And so if you haven't already, get in on it. All entries will be locked after week 3. And there are some fun, cool prizes for the top 3. So feel free to also share it with your friends. The Google Doc form will be in the description below and also in the description on your podcatchers too. So yes, let's get to the match review. And yes, LA United opened that 2025 account in a really big way with 3 goals, 2 of them from the new boy, Emmanuel Latte Lath. And yeah, it was the 3rd largest attendance in world football that weekend. So yeah, but also we saw probably the least likely of all the goal scorers from the attack anyway, Edwin Mosquera. I mean, come on down. That goal. We'll get to it, but my God, what a hit. So anyway, yes, the first goal of the night belonged to Emmanuel Latte Lath. And I mean, the delivery, brilliant by Saba. In the stadium, it kind of looked like Stian Gregerson got on the end of it just because he was following it up. But he got out-jumped by Latte Lath. Like, outrageous. But, if you want to talk through, your thoughts on the goal when you saw it. But, definitely just chef's kiss.
Yeah. It was fantastic to see us dangerous on set pieces. We heard about it in preseason that's how we're scoring a lot, and now it's translating into the regular season, starting off in the first game. That's huge, and we didn't even have Emmanuel Latte Lath in the preseason, and he's just banging him in already. So this is a great start. And seeing, like you said, Stian was up there. A few guys went up there for this ball. That shows this team is hungry to get on the end and put themselves in really good positions in the box in dangerous scenarios. Really, really excited to see that. The team looks hungry. They look confident. And, they're being rewarded for it too. With 3 goals scored in this game, which, keep that clip up. It's going to be hard to beat a team like that.
Right. And, yeah, before we get into more of the goals, the way we started, it looked like we were hungry. It looked like every single counterattack we were going to, just like burst out of the stadium a little bit, just because the pace from Latte Lath, from Miguel Almiron, who the reception that he got from the whole stadium, it was just incredibly warm. I mean, well deserved. It is, our sweet prince returning to his kingdom. But, and as far as the defense, it was a little bit makeshift, unfortunately. You had Matt Edwards at right back making his first start for LA United, and then also Ronald Hernandez on the left. And, as well, Luis Abram at left center back. Probably not the first choice for LA United going forward, but, it will be at least until some other players get back healthy. Derek Williams was on the bench. He did see some minutes after he came on for Stian Gregerson. But yeah, it's one of those, like, I mean, most of the people in the stadium were already standing, but every counterattack was pretty much tippy-toe stuff instead of edge-of-your-seat stuff. It was, just so good. And I think one of the first attacks from Latte Lath, who got the ball on the right, he was dribbling at his man, beat his man, and got a shot off on target. It was like, ooh, okay, we're off to the races here. Like, he looks immediately dangerous, immediately wanting to hurt the other team. And it pretty much was, where also Miggy, in the middle of the midfield, that touch somehow got better. That close control also got better. He was pretty much using his pace, changing direction, staving off defenders, sometimes 2 at a time, maybe 3 at a time through traffic. It was, just tasty stuff. And, another running mate, Saba, as well. Just that ability to pretty much press from the front, all 3 of them, and they look dangerous too, pressing. It was, at some points, Latte Lath, he was upset that he didn't catch his man. Like, that doesn't often happen. Like, most people are just like, okay, we'll just, we'll shepherd you towards this direction. They're not that close to their man. He got close a number of times. It was just exciting stuff. But, comments on the start of the match, and you kind of talked about it a little bit already, but
we got out of the gates quick. We, like you said, had a lot of energy, a lot of confidence. That's really obviously exciting from a fan point of view. We're back to swashbuckling soccer, it seems like. And then obviously the ending scoreline kind of plays to that as well. But like you talked about, the pace and the attack, Saba was there, and I think if he starts getting on the same page as his comrades, man, like if he dials in and is becoming another goal scoring threat like the other two, and then obviously Marinchuk as well as a scoring threat, that's going to be terrifying, because he was a bit off target. He was a bit not on the same page of some of his teammates in this game, and even so, he still caused a lot of havoc and ended up with an assist, from a corner kick. So, he's still, even so, like we talked about in the post-game live show, a lot of the team is not kind of firing on all cylinders and not on the same page, and yet they're still scoring a lot and still, at least for the first half, essentially kind of dominating. Unfortunately, that didn't continue into the second half.
Unfortunately not, yeah. And, it's one of those, they came back every single time. We went up 1-0. They came back. They were unfortunately bullying our defense a little bit. Stian Gregerson even, looking not as stout next to, well, their striker, he's a big boy. So he's a unit. And, that's a rare case when you see Gregerson, not matching the physicality, but it is one of those things where, he's not gonna be out muscling every single player. I think as far as his height, his pace, I think that's really where he shows a lot of his worth. But he's tall and lanky. He's not exactly like bulky and like solid. Right. But obviously he's still a big guy, but he's not gonna be like an I-beam in the way of like a truck coming at it. So I think he's still gonna be great. And he did get bullied a little bit this game. I think Prince is just kind of hard to pocket. He's being, at least for us, a bit of a wily striker, hard to figure out, hard to get pinned down. I think it was when he was on Toronto and we played him last, he also scored against us. So it seems like he's a bit of getting our number, and that's unfortunate, but hopefully we'll figure him out. And I think it's also, if Derek Williams was in over Abram, I think we might have been able to kind of double mark him a little bit better to avoid a little bit of kind of what pretty much transpired during this match. But the second goal was another one of those where I mean, yeah, the ability of the team to pretty much get in the box consistently in this match was the hallmark of it, because in past years there were definitely a lot of matches where we were allergic to the box, and the number of chances in this one is, I think, what's telling, especially when the team isn't even clicking yet. It's just that there's just talent. This talent is, I think, figuring out, okay, well, we don't know exactly where we're going to be yet, but let's just put it into the mixer. And that's what this goal was definitely about. There was a cross that Miggy met with his head. He basically headed it near the 6-yard box. And yeah, I mean, forced to save. Latte Lath exactly where he needed to be. Right foot finish, not a strong foot. And yeah, he's able to put it away like a poacher, which is exactly what we need. We needed those players that can anticipate inside the box.
Right, exactly. I mean, the goalie bobbled it, and the defensive guy in front of him kind of stopped him from being able to make a play on it. And at the result of that, there was a loose ball in the box. In previous years, I feel like we wouldn't have capitalized on that for various reasons. Either our striker wasn't in the right place, didn't have the nose for goal, or wasn't fast enough to get there. And Latte Lath was everything you need in a striker to take advantage of a situation like that. So it feels good to have someone, as I think the announcer on the Apple TV broadcast said, the predator pounces again, and he absolutely seems like a predator.
Yeah, and that's what you want from your striker. You want the anticipation, you want the killer instinct, and you want that clinical eye for goal. And the ball striking ain't bad either. And I think that's one of the things that, okay, you can do maybe like with somewhat of a okay, maybe he's not the best ball striker, but he can poach. Okay, maybe. But it seems like he's as complete as it comes.
Yeah.
Pressing from the front, able to rise high like a salmon and sting like a bee. I am going to make this just hammer home.
It's gonna catch.
But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the originator of this or anything. It's just I think the UK has this saying pretty often. But we're gonna make it catch for Latte Lath. That or high octane. Stay tuned for that. But anyway, so as far as the second goal from Charlotte though. Yeah, it's just continual kind of back post stuff that we just cannot seem to really prevent. Which, okay, yeah, back post goals for a lot of teams are issues because, yes, if you change the point of attack and if you can catch the defense off guard, then yeah, those are where a lot of goals can be scored. But for Atlanta, it just seems like, yeah, we consistently cannot figure that out. And, at one point, I forget if it was on this goal, but yeah, we have a Anatomy of a Goal article on Patreon. And it basically, we have, I think, 5 players back. And none of them are marking the back post, unfortunately. It's Ronaldo Hernandez. He's on the wrong side. He's not goal side for, that either. It's not his fault, but whose fault it is, unfortunately, is the defense that is, the midfield that is marking and pretty much marking space and not really anybody. And not really shielding the defense, not really doing much, really. And it's also, Luis Abram is way too much on the right side of the defense versus where he should be, which is where Ronaldo Hernandez is. And then also Ronaldo Hernandez should be on the back post.
They bunched up. There's no two ways about it. They bunched up. They needed to have spread out and recognize, or as our moderator, who goes by the handle Bill Gluckman, wrote in his Anatomy of a Goal breakdown, they did not ID the threat correctly. They had two guys watching one guy. They had Cleach running into space that didn't need to be occupied. It was already kind of covered. It didn't really break down until we got, the issue got right into the box, and that far post runner started closing in, and our guys just weren't in the right positions, and they didn't ID the threat correctly.
Yeah. And so, definitely check out more of that article for the details and a full breakdown how possibly we can, improve that defense.
It's tough when it comes to defending in this way with the way we play. We have our fullbacks up high on purpose. Our wingers and central forwards, they're not going to come back as much these days. It's not like Almada and Giakoumakis, who would come back quite a bit. Doesn't seem to be going to be the case that much, even though, to Latte Lath's credit, he did do some decent work rate to come back on defense sometimes. But I don't know if we're going to see that consistently. I think his focus is more on offense. So when you have such a high-flying team, a lot of times you can get in transition situations like that, and you don't get back in time because you're left exposed. That's kind of by design. You just hope that you either A, can get back in time, or B, you just kind of have that release valve like Stian Gregersen can just bottle it up, or C, you just score enough to win, which is what ended up being the case for us that game.
Yeah, unfortunately. And so, yes, it was 2-2, and it started to get a little squeaky bum, and it was pretty much, in those dying minutes where, fans are, okay, we continue to get scored on even when we are scoring pretty decent goals. And for them, it's like, oh man, like that's the kind of goal that we're conceding here. It's, just very maddening. But then, yes, I think I made a little bit of a criticism of, okay, yes, Ronnie Deila, when is he gonna make a sub? And yeah, I mean, he waited, and it's like 80th something minute. And Mosquera, he comes on for Miguel. Not Miguel. He came on later, and I believe it was for Saba. But
yes.
Yeah, and so basically Miguel Almiron, he finds him in some space on the left, and Mosquera, he knows exactly what he wants to do with it. He hits it so well. It is top bins, upper 90, and I mean it's a rocket. I don't know.
Magisterial.
It's magisterial, exactly. And Ray Hudson, he probably would have waxed poetic about this, but it is truly. I think. I mean, it's one of. He has another goal that it's not a banger like this, but it is a finessed goal like this that he's becoming known for a little bit, at least in LA United circles, where, okay, him off the bench, you give him some space. I mean, if he's practicing these, it's going great because, to have this weapon off of the bench, that's exactly what we signed him for then. So
yeah, I mean, I think him along with a bunch of other players, are very confidence-based players. And I think that Edwin is feeling himself right now. He's feeling a little more confident than usual, or at least last season, even though he did well against Miami in that one game. Against Red Bull. Remember, that was a great goal he scored against Red Bull. But he's playing with a little bit more confidence now, and I think that allows him to reach another level, or at least be a little bit more consistent, especially off of the bench. Whereas in the past, the team kind of has some mentality issues. It infects him. His play seems to lower as well as part of the other team, and it's hopefully that's as long as things keep going well, he continues to do better.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I think there's players that down tool when they're maybe in a bad team. But then, he realizes he needs to step up, because if he doesn't produce, he's not going to play in this team that is, I mean, this attack, Slam, is just as talented as any team in this league. That is for damn sure. And, you know, I think this bit, being able to have a Mosquera off the bench, Shante Silva didn't even come on in this match. I mean, you know, starters for us last year in terms of Silva. You know, it's just we have a little bit of an embarrassment of riches at the moment, and hopefully everyone can stay healthy. But yeah, so you know, as far as Brad Guzan, he made his 200th appearance in MLS regular season, becoming the first Atlanta United player to ever do so. Matt Edwards, of course, made his first MLS start. He is the 11th homegrown to make a start for Atlanta United. But yeah, these post-match kind of quotes are also very telling, very interesting here. But yeah, Latte Lath, he mentioned. Wait a minute, let me make sure that was what he mentioned. Yes, he said basically after to describe the goal, his first goal, I jump. Which is hilarious. I think he's a man of very succinct fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah. But and then also on his goals, he says, "It's my job," and said next week will be even better as he continues to gain fitness and get in shape. This man's not even in shape yet.
I know. Yeah.
Like that's insane. But yeah, Ronnie Dyla, he also spoke about Latte Lath. He said he can finish left foot, right foot, and he can jump like Air Jordan. And that he did. He jumped higher than, again, people that are much taller than he is. And, you know, there's on the internet, they're like, okay, Miguel Almiron, he's like 5'9" or something. And I've harped on this before in some other content that we've made. But Brooks Lennon's 5'11" apparently, and that ain't the case. But also Emmanuel Latte Lath, like, he's not 5'9" either. He probably is like more like 5'7" probably. But that just what makes it more impressive here is that he's out jumping people that are probably a half foot taller than he is.
Yeah. You remember who did that last?
Exactly.
For us.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there are a lot of similarities between he and Joseph, including that celebration where, okay, maybe he's just sipping a latte, but the way it's just, you know, right there at the lips, it's super reminiscent. And you know what?
Was it this or was it that?
Right.
It's hard to tell.
Subtle, but either way, it's chef's kiss. So, but in terms of Mateus Click, he also mentioned about our defense and Latte Lath, but yeah, he mentioned that he could have scored 3 or 4 goals tonight. He's exactly what a team needs in a striker. He's hungry. He's electric. Fully agreed on that. But he talked about the defense and needing work, but they'll improve. Said this was his and Slich's first actual competitive game together. They're the Polish brothers, and not actual brothers, obviously, but and that their partnership is growing well. Echoed everyone else. It is important to get this 3 points and look to Charlotte. And then Miggy also talked about, yeah, basically the team still trying to work on some things. Said the second half got a little bit complicated, but it's important to come away with a W. And noted that Dyla, he gives him a lot of freedom, and his teammates have made him feel comfortable. Praised Edwin's winner and said he's getting close to Emmanuel Latte Lath. So, yeah, all really great
that's
stuff.
That's where I feel like that confidence is coming from, right? If you feel comfortable, too, is a huge part of feeling confident. If you feel comfortable with the team, you know, you develop that chemistry and that camaraderie. I think that goes a long way to it.
Absolutely. And it's you know, he's wanting to make sure there's chemistry between he and Latte Lath, but also, yeah, the fact that he's getting freedom, and you can see that he's just popping up everywhere, really. But yeah, I feel like
Miguel you just get like insta instant chemistry with him. Like once you meet him, like you're just like, all right, I guess we're friends now immediately.
Right,
He's
exactly.
such a good guy.
Right. I mean, I feel like, yeah, there's not a person that's ever hated Miggy, I feel like. And if you are...
Yeah, he has like maxed out charisma stat.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, if you are, I think you have to question yourself. Because, like, who are you?
Yeah, if Miguel thinks you're an asshole like that.
Yeah. But anyway, so yes, we will be playing Charlotte this weekend, and we will have that preview for you later on in this episode. But let's get into the news. And like aforementioned, Atlanta United's attendance was 65,520, good for third best in the entire world. That's next to only Borussia Dortmund at 81,365, and also Inter Milan at 68,271. So, yeah. Edwin Mosquera, he also won the MLS Goal of the Match day for his goal. I think won at 40-something percent, so pretty definitive there. And Emmanuel Latte Lath, he got named into the MLS Team of the Match day. Remember when we used to just dominate these things every single week? It was fantastic. We're already starting to do that. Week 1, yes. And I'm sure
Atlanta's in everyone's mouth again, and they hate it.
Oh, exactly. It's the evil empire, and you know what? If this attack stays healthy, But yeah, Latte Lath, he was seen along the likes of Messi in that 11 as well for the Team of the Match day, as well as Miles Robinson. So Latte Lath, he was probably chuffed that his photo was right next to Messi, I'm sure. But making his debut against CF Montreal, Latte Lath, he became the first player in club history to score multiple goals in his regular season debut. And yeah, I mean, that's no one else has been able to claim that with some of the talent that we've had. So that's pretty impressive. But
yeah,
he also did a kind of 17 questions recently that maybe we didn't really get into, but I think something of note was that he can speak 5 languages, and I think that's what's really interesting here is that because he's from the Ivory Coast, he's got French and basically English when he was playing in Switzerland, and then he got German there a little bit, and he speaks Spanish with his girlfriend. So.
Yeah, I think him and Jande were like competing to see who speaks the most languages.
Right. And man, I mean, it's like that's the beauty of I think either living or working or being born in Europe is that you just you get to speak all these different languages, and that's huge. I low-key jealous, but as far as I'm bilingual, but still, it's one of those like, why not more? It's that whole Star Wars meme, more. But anyway, as far as kind of another thing that he finds the most joy out of playing soccer. I mean, this is a striker's answer, right? To score goals. I can't lie. I run. Many players don't like to run, and I can tell you the truth. Sometimes I don't like to run, but if I run, I score, and I like to score. So, I mean, it's just like that's really what it is.
He puts the work in.
Exactly, and he ran, and he scored for us. So that's really what it is. And also, the number that he's wearing, it's 19, but there's a 9 and a 1 because I hope that I will be the first one at the number 9 position. So he's made sense of it, at least already. And so I
like it. I mean, if you have to, if you have to assign some kind of meaning to it, that's a solid one. Makes sense to me.
Right, and that's what it is. I mean, he obviously has already kind of internalized that, and yes, he is exuding that, there's going to be a lot of Latte Lath kits sold here for sure. But anyway,
speaking of that, I mean the Fanatics and MLS.com. I mean they are having trouble keeping up with orders from fans trying to get Almiron on the back specifically.
Yeah.
Latte Lath is probably not easy either, but I mean they need to get on their A game, because I've had people complain that they can't get the players that they want on jerseys that they want to order, and it's like a month in, since the players announced, and that's not good enough.
Yeah, and it's only really been like a week and a half since it was announced. So, I mean, yeah, and it's funny that you're getting the complaints. The complaint department should go to MLSsoccer.com or MLS Store or whatever it is.
I'm not getting the complaint. I'm just saying I see them online.
You see them. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not coming to me like, Mike, what the hell, man? I'm like, right. I have no control over that.
Exactly. They're barking up the wrong tree, obviously, there. Yeah, but, if they were doing that. But anyway, Stian Gregerson, he also spoke with the media, and he mentioned about basically what he's hoping to see improve in the defense is more discipline and talk and better organization. We were a little bit open in the middle. We have to stay more compact, and if we can work on that, it will be much, much better. So, yeah, he's noting that, he and Luis Abram, their partnership needs to be more tight if they are to start together. And as well, the shielding of the defense, Schleich and also Click need to do better in terms of being able to, be in front of them, create that box, make sure that these counterattacks cannot happen like this. But yeah, and also, let's see. Yeah, he did mention about the depth of the team. Yeah, so basically, the biggest difference from last year was that we have much more competitive team now in the whole squad. You see Edwin Mosquera's coming in. He scored an amazing goal. We have more people who can also come in and change the game, and that will be important in the long run. So, yeah, just, the players, when they realize they have reinforcements, they have, a deep squad, that's just going to make them more confident as well. And that's just, exactly what we need, is that even in spite, we have a makeshift defense. Okay, we can outscore you. And I think that's the confidence that we need.
And what's great, and I'll tell you this for free, our team did not feel like they were out of this game before Edwin scored. I felt like the goal was coming. At least watching it from home, it probably felt like there was a bit of a pregnant feeling of anticipation in the stadium as well, that that goal was coming. Like, we were going to come back. I know we weren't, the stats and the Montreal were actually playing a decent game against us in the second half. But from my point of view, I didn't feel like we were going to settle with this 2-2 draw. I thought we were going to score, and we ended up scoring. I didn't think it was going to be like that. That was wild. But I thought it would be more like a Latte Lath hat trick or something.
Right. Yeah, definitely unexpected as far as who scored it. But, yeah, the feeling in the stadium definitely was where there wasn't a collective give up from the team. It was very much, I think the crowd was still pushing, the energy was still there, because we saw the confidence from the, not only before the game, because just that type of energy, the tailgate, the just everything that happened before the march. By the way, there's going to be a vlog coming soon. We can't promise when, but it's been a busy week, personally, and also with content on the channel. So definitely, stay on all our socials for all of the stuff that's coming your way for free, by the way, guys. So, definitely, support and, give all the likes, the shares, all that to help us out. But anyway, it is.
And join the Discord.
But the energy was palpable for sure, and it stayed true, even if it wasn't. Maybe I have a gripe that, okay, it's not the entire stadium. It's still still mostly contained into the supporter section, but yeah, I think we can grow on this. We can continue to get loud collectively, and yeah, if we all learn more chants, I think we can really make this the fortress that we expect it to be. Also, pretty much what we want it to be in terms of, I think it's a level of, we're maybe at a 7.5 right now in terms of like atmosphere. I think we can reach, an 8 by next month. We can, get to a 9.5 maybe at the end of the season. And hopefully we can reach, beyond that. But I think, it takes all of us. So
I think it'll come. But I think it at least partially hinges on us unequivocally, like the team unequivocally showing that they're competitive. And that, like, let's say a big team comes to town and we beat them. I think that will really get everyone to be like, okay, we're here now. We've arrived, and everyone's kind of getting on board. Everyone kind of is feeling the hype, and the next game is going to be, everyone shouting, cheering, jumping up and down and everything. I think that it'll be back to what that was again, if those things happen. If it doesn't, I think some people are still a little not sure, at least casual viewers, I think, are still a little unsure of the new team because they've been told before we've had good players, have done well in our first game, and then the season gets away from us. So I still think there are some people who are withholding their hype, and they're not willing to be hurt yet again.
Yeah.
So they're a little calloused. But I think once we show definitively that we're here and we are a force to be reckoned with in this league, I think that the fans will let that go, and they will be ready to love again.
Yeah, indeed. I know it's that, like, if I see some friends or people see me out, and it's one of those things. Yeah, it's palpable. It's surely getting there a little bit, even though it's just the first match. But people are aware, and I think that's great. That's the first step, and so it's just about them. Yeah, I mean, we gotta pretty much, I guess, cash these checks essentially. But anyway, so Bragg Guzan, he mentioned after the match, it puts a smile on my face regarding Miggy. That's because he certainly deserves the reception that I know he's going to get. And he mentioned, I know he's excited, but not only for that moment, but he's excited to be back and be able to represent this club again. It's going to be an exciting moment for everyone. That was after training. But yeah, basically, Miguel Almiron, like, it's just, yeah. What more needs to be said? Let's say it. Miggy, he mentioned that I always try to give my best. Today, it felt really good to play here. I'm really happy to come back and play here in Atlanta. It has been a while since I had feelings like I did tonight. Oh, that just gives me warm fuzzies thinking about that. But and it's a feeling of mostly joy, happiness, also just being able to share with my family, who's also here, and to win the first game. It's good for the fans, for them to experience that as well, because we know that there's high demands on us. And Francesco, his son, was his mascot walking out. I mean, just adorable freaking stuff there. And, it's as well... with the Greg Garza interview that we had a couple weeks back, yeah, definitely make note that Francesco also is the name of Greg Garza's son, and there was maybe because they're friends, and obviously his son Francesco was born first, Garza, so yeah, there's that connection as well. It's just so heartwarming. I mean, this stuff. It's just the connection runs deep. But any thoughts on all that was mentioned?
No, just seeing that Francesco come out with Miguel and that little video of him, going up to him before walking out. Like, it was all just heartwarming and wonderful. Me as a father, it's just great to see, and it makes me I mean, I just really wish Miguel scored that game, but there's time for that. He will score eventually, and I just am really excited for when it will happen.
Yeah. Because, he did have an assist in this match for Edwin Mosquera, and it was his 50th goal contribution for Atlanta United, and he was the 4th player to do so. And, the ones before him, Thiago Almada, Julian Gressel, and his fusion partner, Joseph Martinez. But, let's get to the last bit of news. Atlanta United 2 announced 2 signings for the MLS Next Pro season. Defender Nick Cisak and defender Ronan Wynn, who was selected in the 2025 MLS Super Draft. So, welcome to the twos there. And, okay, just kidding. Not last bit of news. Julian Gressel, very interestingly, was not named into the Inter Miami matchday squad. It was a coach's decision, apparently. But, there's talk that he's trying to move to an East Coast team. It might not be Atlanta. It probably isn't Atlanta. But, obviously, a lot of people are clamoring for Gressel to be back and whatnot. But, I think there's a Philly Union connection maybe there as far as a rumor. But, very interesting. Very interesting. But, a lot of people still are on that WrestleMania train. So, definitely one of those things where, I don't know. If you guys would let us know, what do you think about the possibility of that even?
It's 2025 year of nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And if it was Gressel, Miggy, this cup basically shows. I mean, it's like certain seen better days, but it is basically Gressel and Miggy right next to each other. So kind of nuts. But if you have it right there as well, and there you go, exactly. Miggy jumping on Gressel's back. Yep. Anyway, so that does it for the news, and it gets us to the mailbag. And you guys send in these questions through IG Story and Discord. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. First question comes from our highest level Patreon member, Nick in the ATL of all stripes. He mentions or asks, simple question, how the F do we fix the defense? Well,
I mean, kind of like how I talked about, it's kind of by design that we're going to have that type of exposure when we're playing so high. So it may be not exactly a bug, but a feature. So it's kind of hard to fix, especially if they're hitting on our fullbacks that are consistently not going to be back in order to defend as much. So it's a bit of a tricky. It's a bit of a trick. I mean, it's like live by the sword, die by the sword in a way. So with that in mind, I don't know if there's necessarily like a tactic or something we can do. Maybe if we get enough ahead early, we can switch to a more defensive formation where we're not playing as high. Why risk it at that point? Maybe that could be something that's done. Unfortunately, in that last game, we never got to that position because Montreal kept hitting us up on the back post. So maybe it could be done something in a future game to do. But as of right now, I feel like I'd rather us continue the high-flying attack. And if we get scored on, we get scored on. But at least we should be creating a lot of chances and scoring a lot of goals and daring the other team to do something about it. Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much is that. It's like, it's the Darren Eels ethos, pretty much. Win 3-2, win 4-3. Kind of how we started as far as a franchise. And as far as the defense to fix it, it's hard to fix it with a first start for homegrown and then Ronald Hernandez on fullback and also Luis Abram as one of the center backs. It's just as makeshift as it comes. If we're doing this with our first choice, okay, yes, there's some real questions, I think, then. If we're getting scored on twice a game, usually probably not a good deal. So I think like we mentioned as well.
Do you think
earlier,
Amador gets back? Do you think Amador gets back to stop that second goal?
There's a possibility. It's not for sure, obviously, but I think
Because we know Brooks isn't, but he wasn't the one necessarily.
Right.
You know?
I think it's more this. I think it's Derek Williams is probably in the right spot. And so, he's not all the way over the right, not even marking anybody. And I think that at least, as well, a ball into the box. Yeah, Derek Williams is, if it was a little higher, well then, yeah, Derek Williams is going to be able to handle that. But I think, him reading the game is just a lot better. But
Abram's supposed to be very, cerebral, AJ. Why is he not reading the game right?
Yeah. Anyway, this leads right into greatest Josh Cohen fan. Thoughts on Abram and Hernandez duo versus Montreal?
I think you got my thoughts on Abram.
Exactly. I think we pretty much mentioned that. But yes, both of them leave a little bit to be desired in the reading of the game department. But Hernandez didn't really have a terrible game. No. But I think
he's been getting much better. He's been getting much better, I think.
Yeah. I think his reading of the game has improved. And, his delivery has always been pretty decent. His passing is pretty decent. It's just he can get out-muscled. He can maybe get a little too aggressive at times where he gets
that's
out of
the
position.
big one, I think. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think so. He takes a bit of a walkabout, gets a little too aggressive, and sometimes that bites us in the butt in exposure.
Yeah, he gets caught out, and instead of maybe staying back at a moment where he should be, he's maybe trying to tackle, try to get the ball where he maybe shouldn't. But it is what it is. We know the limitations with the depth players. But let's see. Marv the Electrocuted asks, any overreactions from the first game? What should we expect for the rest of the season? I know it's only one game.
Overreaction? Overreaction would be, we're gonna win the cup. Of course, obviously it's an overreaction. We're going to, get scored on all the time, I think is also another overreaction. I think, as we go throughout the season, we'll find our footing a little bit more on defense, especially with starting our starters once they come back from being, injured, provided we don't get any new injuries. So I think that'll go, a long way to get us to be more of having a more competent defensive lineup, and have us concede less. So, and then I still think we'll score, consistently, 2 goals a game on average is my guess. I don't foresee us winning a lot of 1-0s. But if, it has to happen, it has to happen. But I just see us scoring a good amount. And I think we will shore up the defense. I still think we'll be leaky, but I don't think it'll be 2-3 goals a game. I think it'll drop to 1-2 goals a game.
Yeah. Overreaction for the first game? Yeah, well, Latte Lath, he's going to win the Golden Boot because he's going to score 68 goals at this pace, right? Because 2 a game, 34 games.
Hey, there were 7 braces in MLS on the first match day, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, but, that's my overreaction here. And then for the rest of the season, that's really what it is. He's gonna win the Golden Boot and win us MLS Cup because of it. So there you go. Elena VIPs asks, this past weekend we witnessed a great atmosphere at the Benz, explosive runs, great interplay between the attackers, even without even playing together much. My question is a hot dog a sandwich?
It's if you define a sandwich by the characteristics of a hot dog, then yes. If you don't, then no.
Yeah, I hear you there. That's the thing. It's okay, and I think this is what you're saying, right? Is if you sandwich something between something, that makes it a sandwich.
Yeah, if that's your definition, then it's a sandwich. Yeah,
but and this is the thing. There are open-faced sandwiches, in which case that's still a sandwich. Avocado toast, is that a sandwich? I don't know. It's it's maybe just
Yeah.
some crap on some bread. No, not crap. I do like avocado toast, but but
the entire like Stian Gregerson and Ronnie Dye will be annoyed at you because Norwegians and Scandinavians love open face sandwiches. They have that's like they take bread, put a whole bunch of stuff on it, and then they'll take a knife and fork and cut it, and then have those pieces like that. That's a very common food item they have there.
Exactly. And so, there's that. I mean, is a meat pie a sandwich? I don't know. Is it a pouch? I mean,
It's probably a pie.
Maybe a pie? Is it? Is it though? Because
I don't think a pie would be a sandwich.
But it's something in between two bits of things. Like this shit gets deep. So
I mean, I'm in between my chair and my desk. Does that mean I'm a sandwich?
You're sandwiched between your chair and your
Correct.
desk. So anyway, it. Yeah, I guess it just depends on your definition. And
Exactly. That's always how these things boil down to.
right, and for me,
Just get your definitions in line.
exactly. For me, I don't think it's a sandwich. But anyway, so next question comes from. Oh wait, where did these questions go? They disappeared. Anyway, I'll have to read them from my phone, I guess. So, yes, if you want to read one of the other questions that you're aware of, just so we don't kill the time. You know what? I got it. Or you can go ahead.
No, go ahead if you have it.
Okay. Yes. So JB Soccer Brit 14 asks, was Mark Bloom underused during his time at the club? That is as deep as a cut as they come. Possibly there are deeper, but yeah, realtor, I think, Mark Bloom right now. I don't think he was underused. I don't think he was underused. We had Ty Mears, we had Anton Walks, the late great. But I think they did the job, and he was depth. So, but you have any thoughts on Bloom?
No, not really.
Yeah, just as random as a question as they come. But thank you.
Do we know if Bloom submitted that question? Maybe it was him who submitted that question.
JB Soccer Brit. Doesn't seem
You don't
so.
know. Could be a
Doesn't seem
pseudonym.
so.
Who knows?
Could be. Yeah, and let's see. Who else? A_Jake. What happened to the former Napoli left back? Rui doesn't seem like he's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't seem like he's coming, but
Feels like that's dead. And then I can read the next question on from the Discord.
go ahead.
So Latte Lath is absolutely amazing, but it might take a second for Slam to really get into effect. We saw it with some passes needing to get to Miggy or Saba, and I think it'll fix hopefully by the Red Bulls game. Now this defense, it'll fix once Amador and Williams is back, but Lennon still is a big hole. Personally, I think Ronald Hernandez can do it. This midfield is good and the buildup is good, but we need to lock in for this. And that was from A.2310. I am now realizing that wasn't a question. I saw a question mark in the middle of it, so I thought there'd be a question, but there was not.
Now this defense, yes. So I think that's the problem. I don't think Hernandez can do it. He is a depth piece for us. Lennon still is better than Hernandez. It's the issue, though, is that he's better than him going forward and marginally better than him going backwards. But I think with both of them, it's reading the game. It's maybe not getting caught out too far ahead. And, I mean, Lennon is not a natural fullback. He is a winger. And so I think that's, he's been playing a role since he's come to us. And he's done, I think, as good of a job as he can be, not being a natural defender. So I think that's really, really what it is. But yeah, will it take Slam a little bit of time to get completely clicking? Sure. Yeah, there were some moments, Saba, I think, putting a ball in behind, like a through ball to
Multiple
Baranchuk.
times with Saba.
Yeah.
Multiple.
But this is the thing. I don't think it was on
Just not picking
Saba.
his head up.
Right.
He wasn't picking his head up multiple times, yeah.
To a degree. I think it's also choosing the right ball for a player like Moranchuk as well. Like, yeah, Moranchuk is not going to beat his man with pace. So yeah, I think it takes some chemistry to figure out. Okay, even though they play together, it's just like, okay, well, what's the type of ball that he's probably going to be able to come onto the best? Is it probably a 1-2, play a wall pass off of him, and so he can get in behind? Because Saba in behind, he's got the pace, and I would bank on him finishing it as well. I mean, he's not probably as clinical as Latte Lath, but I mean, give him a 1-on-1, okay. I think he can put it in the bottom right corner, but yeah. So I think it's a bit of that. But yeah, any thoughts?
But one more thought before we get off and go on to maybe the match preview. I would be remiss to not talk about the one way, or not the one. I guess there's multiple ways, but the one that sticks out in my mind, a chance that Miguel had to score with Sleesh's pass that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that was. Yeah. Oh, it was so close. I'm like, this is it. This is absolutely it. How could it not be? It was the perfect Miguel Almiron goal. Like how we saw it before many, many times. I'm like, this is the anatomy. This is how it should be. But unfortunately, Sleesh just couldn't get the pass right. And man, that should have been his goal, and that should have been everyone losing their damn mind.
Right. Yeah. You ideally would have liked to see it played earlier, maybe over the top, because I think the defender did well. He cut off the angle. He knew exactly what he was trying to do. And yeah, he was trying to play a through ball in behind, and it just, like past the right of the player, or the left if he's, the defender. And it was just telegraphed probably a little bit too much. So that's the unfortunate bit.
It was always going to Miguel, and the guy knew it.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And also something we didn't mention was that CF Montreal hit the crossbar at the very last play, really. So it very well could have been a whole different conversation and feeling. Yeah. But it wasn't. And that
early, like previous Atlanta United teams would have lost this game or tied this game 3-3. And something like that. Like it would have just conceded at an untimely moment, and it would have just been like, this again, right? So It was not the case this time. Like we said about Latte Lath, like just figuring out that second goal, and just being there, whereas in previous teams may not have, just would have not finished their meal essentially. In this case, we did, and these are the types of games you have to figure out how to win and get the points. You got to win at home, is what I was saying in the Discord chat. When we were in the video chat, everyone watching together, you gotta win these games at home, especially against weak opponents. 'Cause Montreal, let's be honest, is not a strong opponent right now, and we're gonna go up against much more difficult opponents. So you needed these points, and we got them. We figured it out. Now let's move on to the next one, and hopefully we can be a little bit more solid on the defense.
Indeed. Last question comes from C Scholar. What are the odds these big signings like Latte Lath staying longer than Almada, etc.?
I mean, Almada stayed longer than I thought he would.
Yes,
so,
true.
I thought we got a lot of time with Almada. It's unfortunate we couldn't win anything with him, but no. I mean, I think that these guys are going to stay a good amount. I mean, granted, in soccer, international soccer, players don't typically stay that long, so don't get used to that happening. But I do think in terms of longevity, I think that they are going to probably stay a little bit longer. I think Garth and Chris Henderson were trying to identify players that would, they used the term franchise player. So I think that that's something that was on their radar to look out for, and not just be very good at soccer.
Yeah. I think there's a higher than maybe, a very arbitrary number here, higher than like maybe 75% chance that he stays longer than Thiago Almada, but there is also the chance that, I mean, if he kills it, like absolutely, just scores out of his mind and wins Golden Boot, wins MVP, I mean, there's no telling that he's gonna do a Joseph Martinez. Like, he might, he might get some offers.
Really blame him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if top EPL teams come calling, like, he's gonna go, and especially if we get offered insanity money, like way over the amount we paid for him. Yeah, Garth is gonna. He's shown he will do that, so he's gonna do it again, and it just honestly, it's good business sense. So, and we've shown now that we have really, really capable people in the front office to replace him if necessary. So. I think that we'll be all right, even if that were to be the case. I know a lot of fans just want to hold on to someone for a while so they can become club legend status and things like that. And I get that. But, I think that avenue is more likely right now than him getting sold off. But if he does, I don't think it'll be the end of the world.
Yeah. But either way, that is the mailbag. You guys send in those questions. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We might send in, or we might answer your question in the future. So please continue to do so. But let's get into the match preview. And 2:15 on Saturday, a really odd time, at Bank of America Stadium, we play at Charlotte FC. The last match we played against them was a 1-0 win. September 1st in 2024. That was at their home, but their last match, they drew 2-2 to the Seattle Sounders, which was a bit of a barn burner for them. They were down, and then they had to come back, I believe. So definitely very interesting for a first match. They're conceding goals as well as we are. So, we might be in for a shootout. But the last 6 between us has been 3 wins for them, 3 wins for us. They've pretty much, it's just a trade-off of winning at each other's homes, essentially. I think we're going to fare a little bit better this year, possibly. But hopefully that doesn't continue. But Dean Smith has them, at least with the on-paper bit, looking like a much stronger team this season. They did finish 5th this past season in the Eastern Conference, and they got Wilfried Zaha on loan from Galatasaray, but also they also have Patrick Agyemang and Lille Abada. And so, definitely as far as that front line, it's looking pretty stout in a sense, but also they are a team that will defend deep. They will be hard to break down generally, anyway, if you're not Seattle Sounders and you're not Jordan Morris. But, as far as, this type of team, it's just, that 4-2-3-1, Pep Biel in the middle as well. They're a team that, on paper, I think have a set way they want to play. And that's good. That's probably good for them in that sense, that they, from that end, they know what their identity is. It's going to be, I think, feed Zaha when he's there. And have him pretty much help create a bunch of chances with Pep Biel. And Agyemang will pretty much look to finish a lot of them. But, the predictions across the pundits in the MLS soccer dome, I guess, have them finishing as low as 7th, but as high as 2nd. So, they look like a team that's, will be able to maybe do some damage, but as well, we will also be able to do some damage. And the real question is, can we do it on the road? We'll have to figure that out. But it is one of those things where, it's this. The odds are funny because basically, according to Bet365, Charlotte pretty much has a 45.5% chance of winning. A draw is 31.2%. An away win is 29.4% for Atlanta United. So definitely the lowest of those odds, even though we traded, those blows at home last season. But, also without the possibility of Wilfred Zaha. So that...
Yeah, apparently he had a kid recently.
Yeah.
So, and he's not been with the team.
Uh-huh.
So there's a chance he doesn't play.
Exactly. So, we're recording this on a Wednesday night. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to or not. But, it's definitely going to be interesting. And if he doesn't, it's a big boon for Atlanta United for sure. But yes, as far as the unavailable players for Atlanta United, likely Amador and Lennon are still going to be out. Aiden Torres as well with his knee. So, it's not going to be probably... the first choice again, but Williams probably will be able to play. He did play some minutes, and hopefully, he can start. But let's get into that predicted starting 11 then. So obviously, Guzan between the sticks. Fullbacks for you, does it change?
No.
Yeah, so Edwards, Hernandez as those fullbacks. In center back, the pair, you're going to change it, or are you sticking with Gregerson and Abram?
If Abram has not looked great, so I would really like Williams to be able to come in, and if we can do that, great. But if medical says no, then it's no.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So yeah, Gregerson and Williams if we can. This is where it starts picking itself, and that's music to my ears, really. But so Schleich, Click in midfield. Seems like the midfield pair in that sense. Moranchuk in the hole. Almiron, Saba, wings. Anything different for you?
I'm thinking, I'm curious, when is Tristan gonna get his shot? If things keep going the way they go, don't really see a
way back in.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. I don't know. Maybe Ronnie's like, hey, we'll let him come out this game, that game, or something, a random game, just to see what he can do, or something like that. Maybe so. It's a possibility we could see that, but I think you don't want to mess with what you're starting. I think people who watched the New York City FC when Ronnie was there. Ronnie kind of found who the starting 11 was and just ran it into the ground. Just this is what I'm rolling with every time if I can. So that'll probably be the case with this as well. So I don't see it being Tristan, but it's unfortunate for him at least. How do you make your way back into the team that way?
Yeah, he's depth. He's a player that's can spell at a decent level. If we need him to, but I don't see him usurping Schleich. That's the player that probably would be in that sense. Fortune probably maybe is more heir apparent, but and then he would maybe be, kind of, I guess, the understudy to Click, more so Muyamba, and so it's just I think that Polish pair is gonna be. The starting midfield until they prove they maybe can't. But Click being a former DP and playing in Europe with Leeds, it's just we saw that class that he was pretty much exuding that kind of metronome ability, the availability all over the pitch, finding space and then picking out a pass. There's a bit of the, I think where they didn't shield the defense like we mentioned before, but I think we'll hopefully be able to iron that out a little bit. But Almiron, Saba on the wings, I think that's a given probably at this point, and then Latte Lath up top. So, anything different?
No.
Yeah, it's just
I sign off on it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting how the defense is going to hold against Charlotte. I mean, yeah, it's one of these, like, their defense, while, yeah, they did give up 2 goals, it's still going to be pretty stout. And so, yeah, you know, it's going to be a good test. Our attack versus their defense. What can we do? And, you know, especially on the road. Let's get into it then. Score prediction. What do you got?
Listen, we're here to gather wood and fucking chop. So Charlotte is going to be baby food for us. I say 3-1. Us.
Oh, okay. On the road, man. Okay. I love it. I am not as bullish. I am thinking it's a 2-2 draw, which, you know, not great for Charlotte fans. They're just like, we have 2 games where we have exactly the same scoreline. Too bad. But I think, you know, this might be one of the harder ones to start off the season. So a 2-2 draw, I think, isn't too bad. There's going to be goals, I feel like. And, you know, I think with a good scoring run that we're already on, I think there's going to be confidence, at least in the attack department. So it's about how we can keep the ball in the back of out of the back of the net. And that ultimately will determine, obviously, what we see on Saturday. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, that is pretty much the match preview and pretty much the entire episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, how many wins on the road will Atlanta United win this season? Get at us in the comments. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's been Michael. I've been AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.